General election yesterday, all the results are out. It's a new, brave new world for Britain today. Brexit's going to happen, the Tories have got a massive majority. Jeremy Corbyn, the crazy left, he's finished, defeated, on his way out. But if we think that's the end of the story, think again. Watch the Templar report and I'll fill you in and I'll tell you all about it. See you there. Runs for re-election. That's if he's not in jail, because every time I look, the crazy Democrats are trying to impeach him, besmirch him, lie about him. It's a wonder they've not shot him. But that might be the next thing if they fail and everything else. But it's getting ridiculous. And, you know, the other day I was looking, for Europeans, CNN, this programme, this channel you've got in there, I won't call it a news channel because that would be stretching credulity too much. But this CNN, I was abroad and I put the TV on, CNN came up, it was the only English channel, and I looked at it and I thought, good grief, and it doesn't matter whether you put it on at 6 a.m, 6 p.m, or 11:45 p.m, it's Trump, 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 it does everything, it's Trump, and they managed to turn every story into Trump. And I watched it the other day and there was a volcano somewhere erupting, was it New Zealand or somewhere? New Zealand. And somebody even tried to suggest that it was all this fracking that Trump was licensing, or it was the global warming that was contributing to a volcano exploding. They're actually trying to... Could be Trump, you know. He could have been partly responsible for this. They're totally mad, insane, dangerously insane. But anyway, so pay attention what happened to us Brits, and you'll get a good idea of the same kind of circus that was going to unfold in America. So last night, as I say, yesterday we had the general election. And basically the two big parties here are the Conservative Party, a sort of right-wing party, mild right-wing, and often seen as the old party of the big money people. And then you had the Labour Party, which was formed in my hometown by a Presbyterian lay preacher to protect and defend the rights of the working man and the poor and the downtrodden. All very good in its day. But now it's no more than a crazed Marxist load of loonies. One wing are crazed Marxists, another wing are equally crazed, if not more crazed, liberals, mad liberals, who are into the tree hugging and the pulse-eating freaks. You know the type, banging drums, hair and dreadlocks. They all earn about 200,000 a year, but they're solidarity because they are the proletariat. You know the type, been to university, mum and daddy's lawyers, but they're the poor, downtrodden masses. Crazy. Anyway, they were against each other, and this whole thing in Britain about Brexit. So the people went to the country. The Conservative Party, 3 years ago nearly now, went to the country and said, do you want in Europe or out? Dead simple. That was it on the ballot paper. In or out, yes or no, bang, done. So the British people rose up and voted to leave. So then all these left-wing and liberals said, well, we don't really agree with it. And we refused point blank to go along with this. And some parties in Britain, the Liberal Democrats, they campaigned on a ticket of, we will abolish the vote. You see what I mean? The Liberal Democrats. No, we're not having it, we'll just abolish it. So anyway, all these people went into battle yesterday to see who the public would vote for. Now, the leader of the Liberal Democrats is a very, very silly girl called, what's her name, Jo Swinson. And sadly, she's a Scot. Although I have my doubts, I'd like a DNA test carried out on that woman. But anyway, she campaigned on a ticket that I will scrap the vote, there'll be no other vote, there'll be no rerunning the vote, I'm just going to ignore it, and that's it. You were all rather stupid, you know, obviously you blue-collar workers are uneducated fools, so you didn't know what you were doing, and I'm just going to scrap the vote. And you're not only, she said in an interview, you're not just looking at the leader of the party, you're looking at the future Prime Minister. Well, she's very disappointed this morning because she not only she didn't win the election and she's not the Prime Minister, she is no longer a politician because the people spoke and kicked her out, booted her out, she lost her seat. She's gone. So right now she's down some welfare office filling in the forms. No. Because her husband gets £3.5 million in EU grants. Eh? She's doing all right for herself. Now we know why she's so fanatically pro-EU. A lot of money, £3.5 million. You can buy a lot of psychotherapy for that, so he's going to have to spend it on her because she's like cracked up. She's went mad because the people have defied her. What is this democracy all about? In fact, right now as I speak in the UK, there are demonstrations going on by the snowflakes, by the university kids, and by the liberals demonstrating on the streets of English cities saying, down with this democracy, we don't want this vote, get it away, didn't agree with what we wanted, and we refuse to obey it. That's the spoiled brats that we have produced that are sadly going to be the next generation of influencers and decision makers. So thank goodness I'm getting old and I'll probably be dead by then. And if I'm not dead by then, I will be digging a hole and hiding, because these people are mad, absolutely mad. So anyway, let's look at the figures. Last night, the Conservative Party won a majority of 78, which is a big majority. It means it doesn't have to go kowtow to anybody else. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister now, can just push through the Brexit thing, no problem. Excellent. And it's been the biggest general election victory since 1987. Remarkable, considering for 10 years of austerity. The Conservative Party have been in for a long time. Things are confused. Parties that have been in for a long, long time tend not to do well, and they tend to get hammered and beat. But the biggest majority they've had since 1987, because the leader of the Labour Party is Jeremy Hamas Corbyn. And if you look at some of these pictures, this guy actually ran for to be the Prime Minister of Britain. Did you see him, his pictures with all these Arab terrorists, the IRA, every communist in the world, he sought them out. Every armed terror group in the world, he sought them out and stood with them. And I've even got one he's standing, very, very bad actually. He's laying a big wreath for the Palestinians who were shot after massacring the Jewish athletes. I think it was Munich 1972. I mean, what's this guy on? And he could have been, this morning, he would have been the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and I would have been on a plane to another country somewhere far away, because I would have lasted about 4 hours before being interned or sent to the gulags. So thank God that he never won. By the way, Boris isn't that much better. But anyway, Labour lost 59 seats. The Liberal Democrats, that's the real mad lefty Liberals, they only lost 1. And the Conservative Party increased their seats by 47. So good night for the sort of right. The Liberal Democrat leader, I told you about this, Jo Swinson, she lost her seat, and she's gone. Now she's resigned as the head of the party as well. So she's not the Prime Minister. She's not got a job, and she's not got a party. She's had to resign as the party leader. Great result for her. The Scottish National Party, and let me explain to my American friends, because I know a lot of these are American, Scottish by blood, and same with the Canadians, Australians, New Zealanders. The Scottish National Party are not a national party. They are hardcore Marxists who want to break the chains, freedom, break the chains from England. But hand the chains over to the Germans and the French in Brussels, because they want to leave Britain primarily because they don't want to leave the EU. So that's who's running Scotland. Well, basically they won the heap. 48 seats in Scotland, increasing their vote, increasing everything. I think they left the Labour government, who used to run Scotland, they left them with 1 seat. 1. Can you imagine the Democrats taking the whole of America and the Republicans only having 1 seat? Well, that's what happened in Scotland. So they are now calling for a second Scottish independence referendum, again with these lefties. We had one about 5 years ago and they said this is a once in a lifetime, once in a generation decision, but we'll have a referendum. The people said, okay, we've done it. The vote was we stay with Britain, we stay in the United Kingdom. A few years down the line, we didn't really like that result, can we do it again? So they're going to do it again, and I absolutely believe Scotland will go independent. So the United Kingdom will be no more within 5 years. And then we shall see how a small country of 4.5 million people, of an aged population, with very little going for it, will survive with a socialist Marxist government running it. That'll be fun. Oh, and the Americans need to take care, because the only nuclear weapons in the whole of the UK are based in Scotland, and the SNP said they're going. So Americans have to start looking for a new place for the weapons. If I was an American, I'd just take my weapons back and say, defend your bloody self and pay for it yourself. That's what you should do, America. Don't let these socialists riding your back. Anyway, The other big news of the night, Nigel Farage, Donald Trump's friend, Nigel Farage, the big fake right-winger. Although he's done a lot of good work pushing all this, but he's not a right-winger, he's not a nationalist, he's a kind of populist. Don't know what he is. But anyway, he started a thing called the Brexit Party, and it fielded over 300 candidates. And before that, he ran UKIP, and he used to field 650 candidates. And basically, he only won in 15 years 1 seat with the UKIP. And in this election, he won nothing. Nothing. 300 candidates, nothing. And it was called the Brexit Party. And what I'd like to say specifically that, and if anybody from Britain watching or Ireland or any of the European countries, you have to grow up. I have my inbox spammed to hell with people saying, Jim, why are you not getting behind the Brexit Party? Why are the Templars not backing the Brexit Party in the UK? Because we're grown-ups and we're not stupid and we're not prone to flights of fancy or delusions or daydreams or any other kind of altered mind position. Look, we have a first-past-the-post system. We do not have a D'Hondt system. We do not have a proportional representation system. So the chances of any new party coming and winning anything, never mind taking power, is almost zero. And Nigel Farage had 15 years with UKIP. They won 1 seat and he promptly defected to somebody else.
He defected in the first place.
Yeah, he was a defector in the first place. I mean, honestly, it's so stupid, it's so naive, and I don't want to be rough with people watching this, but I'm going to have to be rough with you, because this is the same garbage you came to me and said, you need to back UKIP, we will be in power. Didn't harm. You didn't even get enough power to take over the tuck shop or the sweetie shop inside Parliament. You didn't get enough power to take over the ticket office in the foyer of Parliament. It's ludicrous. And to suggest and think and to believe yourself in your own brain that the Brexit Party was going to do anything is delusional. Now, because they won seats in the European Parliament, that's fine. That's a different election. People take a chance on that. And when you go to the European Parliament, you have absolutely no power or say in your own country's affairs or anybody else's. It's the Commission that make the rules. So you have to start growing up. You know, the politicians do what they want with us in this country because the electorate is borderline imbecilic. Totally illiterate. That's a fact. But borderline imbecilic. There's a difference between an imbecile and somebody illiterate. Somebody illiterate could be a highly intelligent human being, but they've never been educated. An imbecile is somebody who has been educated, they're probably quite clever, but they're cuckoo, they're bonkers, they're mad as hatters. And that's what happens when people start getting into the election mode. They actually think that these people can win. And they throw money and time and resources at it and it goes nowhere. So anybody who was screaming abuse at the Templars and screaming abuse at Jim Dowson, saying I was a traitor and a defeatist and all the rest of it, how do you feel today? Give your head a shake. Go look in the mirror, see what age you are and grow up before you do it again. But some will, because they're stupid. And one of the good things of the evening, we have a man in Britain who has been an MP for 49 years, a mad, lefty, crazy man. But I quite like him because he's so mad. He's spectacularly insane. And it's a man called Dennis Skinner, hardcore leftist. And he's so crazy. He comes from a town, he represents a town called Bolsover. And he is referred to... Mr. Skinner is referred to as the beast of Bolsover. That's how wild he is. He lost his seat. So it's been a good evening. But the best of all, now I know my American friends probably won't know this name, but the Brits watching this will know. The most vile, disgusting, objectionable, bullying, harassing, evil snowflake that has ever graced the planet. A woman called Anna Soubry, who had nationalists arrested, who had patriots arrested for daring to question her outside Parliament. So when you go to see these people, somebody said, why are you voting against Brexit when it was the people's? Well, you're a traitor. She had them arrested, and some of these young men and women, and old women, were given suspended sentences. She even took her opponent, her political opponent, who was standing against her in her own constituency. She took her to court, had her convicted of harassing her, because she made her upset by saying she was undemocratic so-and-so, that the poor woman could not even campaign. And there was a court order that her political opposer could not even mention her name. I know people won't believe this. They'll say, "It can't be right." In an English court. Yes, in an English court. So somebody standing for election, putting himself before the people against Anna Soubry, was banned from saying Anna Soubry. Criminal offence to even mention her name. That's what happened. But the good news is Anna Soubry is gone. She said, "The people will decide my fate." Damn right they did. You're out. You're gone. Goodbye. Never to be heard of again, because nobody in this country will ever forget the things you did, Soubry, and the way you behaved. You behaved. Joseph Stalin would have been shamed by the way you behaved against the electorate. So you're gone. The people have spoken. I thank God that you're gone, and I pray to God that we'll never hear from you again, other than you've maybe took a mad turn and jumped off London Bridge. So we shall see. We shall see what's happened. It's been a good day all round, but Americans and Canadians and Australians and New Zealanders and Irish people, watch the next few days very carefully, because if you think the left and the crazy Marxists and the Liberals will give up just because there's been an election decision, well, you're silly, because I think we know now that these people do not accept democratic decisions. So watch what happens to us. That will give you the jump on your own elections to see how you can combat them. Again, if there's anything the Templars can do to help you in your own country, combat these lunatics, and to promote good, decent, respectable patriots to get into power, we're always here, willing to help day or night. Well, that's all from me. I wish you all the very best. And remember, stick close to God and you won't go far wrong. Thank you.
The threat is real, and we are on the front line. In a world of misinformation and attacks from the left and mainstream media, censorship, deplatforming, it is time to call out the fake news and bring you the truth. We are the Knights Templar. Visit our website and join today. We are the Resistance. Deus Vult.